Oh, jam! Hello again and welcome to the Mana Pool. This is episode 496 of the Mana Pool. And I have no and. It seems like here lately I keep trying to go and there's not an and. I need to work on my anding skills.
Is that like sanding? Because I have sandpaper.
Or anding up?
I should probably work on all of these skills. So, hello, I'm Chewy, the lead dork and bad at anding. And with me, as always, are some other dorks. Dorks, sound off.
I'm Brian. I'm the lead rambler and tangent master. And when it comes to skills, I put all my points into talking. And sometimes, well...
There is no and.
Interrupting. There we go.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, he cleared his throat and then he stopped. And I'm like, oh, fake out.
I'm Mike. I'm the rules guy and the game lore guy. And too often I spread my points out in such a way that my character becomes vaguely pointless.
And I'm Dirk, the self-proclaimed greenest man alive and moral compass of the group. And I put all my points into perception.
Nice.
And I'm the wife.
And the other part of my points go into my wife.
Baby.
You know.
Hello.
Is that why
You know,
Family show.
Like, maybe
Family show.
Happy and think,
Is that why Dirk has 3 kids? All right.
But I have to... Dirk is actually very perceptive. How many times have we sat here and then we're talking about whatever, and then Dirk just says the most insightful statement that makes us all go like, oh yeah!
True.
We're bad at this.
But then every once in a while, Dirk goes off on some random, completely unrelated tangent.
That's because you haven't seen the perception yet.
Oh, that's what it is.
We're still 2 steps behind him.
That's right.
For the record, all of my points went into charisma and intelligence, so I'm a freaking bard.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because that means most people don't take me on their adventures, so I can stay home and make videos. So, this... what the hell? You know what? There's a couple of bits of news. We're going to knock those out real quick. First up, during the Pro Tour. Hey, there was a modern Pro Tour that didn't suck horribly. Wow, that's news.
Yeah.
But that's because the modern of this current day and age is way more healthy than the modern. The last time there was a modern Pro Tour wasn't the Pro Tour when the Eldrazi Scourge happened?
Yep.
That was the last one, yeah.
God, that was stupid.
So dumb.
But anyway, so yeah, Modern Pro Tour happened. During the Modern Pro Tour, they showed off some of the packaging for Masters 25 and confirmed that Jace the Mind Sculptor and Azusa Lost But Seeking will be in Masters 25.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, pretty much. Jace is a mythic, of course, but Azusa is just a rare. Nice.
Cool.
Because they could easily have made her mythic just to suck more money out of the Commander crowd.
Easily.
But turns out no. So,
does she get played in Modern at all?
Sometimes,
there's like a deck that plays her?
Primeval. Sometimes those crazy Primeval Titan decks play her.
I was thinking of Primeval Titan or maybe Scape Shift. I don't know. Keep going.
Anyway. So yeah, that's cool if you're into that. Also, another bit of news, and this apparently was announced the day that we recorded Monday Night Magic, but it eluded us, so we'll have to talk about it next week there. But Magic the Gathering and Netmarble. If you've never heard of them, don't worry, no one else has either. They announced something called Project M for mobile games, and looking at it and playing the little demo video, it's a mobile MOBA. God, I hate that. Using
MOBA.
It's a mobile blah 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 blah. But anyway, it's using, what are they called? Planeswalkers, there we go, as the heroes for the game, which I don't know why this never occurred to us before. Because there are all of these Planeswalkers that would be perfect for a game like Dota or Heroes of the Storm or what have you.
Yeah. Well, now there are. At first it was just like 5, and for a while there were not many more than that. But
true. But I mean, in the modern age of now.
Yeah, there's zillions.
Like when they announced, hey, we've got we're going to be diving into more different ways to expand the brand. I don't think any of us came up with a MOBA. And now I feel stupid because it's so obvious.
It is. And they even talk about in this article how the MOBA market is nearing saturation if it's not already there. But also, to be fair, I didn't really like MOBAs because all I have ever known about MOBAs until Heroes of the Storm was League of Legends and Dota.
Yeah.
And everything I know about the communities of people that play those makes me never want to ever install them ever. Ever. So no offense. If you like those games and if you're a good person, then that is fantastic. Again, I've never played them. This is purely what I've heard.
Brian's like, that's a big if, but
I've never played them, and I don't mean to judge people. I'm saying that everything I've heard about them, first of all, doesn't make me want to play them. Second of all, I remember playing the actual Defense Against the Ancients stage in Warcraft 3 and sucking so hard that I was like, why would anyone ever want to do this? Why can't I get back to resource collecting and recruiting people and slamming my units against each other? Why am I protecting a dang building? So, so I'm just saying that it didn't occur to me, probably because until Heroes, I was like, MOBA, get away.
And that's how I felt for a long time. But yeah, League of Legends is widely known to have an incredibly toxic community, which is... Although with the advent of PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, I think League might be falling down on the rankings of the most awful communities. So good for them. But anyway, that's nowhere related to what we're talking about. The mobile MOBA market seems to be losing its mind here lately, since it seems like about every third or fourth YouTube ad that I see is for some Dota knockoff that is obviously Dota that somehow gets around copyrights.
Mm-hmm.
Not entirely sure how that happens, but, whatever.
I guess maybe the mechanics of the game weren't trademarked or can't be trademarked.
Maybe.
Copyrighted. However that works for mechanics of a game.
Yeah, but the link to this article is in the show notes. I highly recommend that everyone check out the little intro video because it's cool. It's really cool. You get to see Liliana and a Johnny running around on a mobile level doing stuff. I think Brian meant to mute and didn't.
Yeah, sorry. This thing got my headphones got pulled out of my thing by accident.
Oh. Anyway.
And that for some reason opened an ad, because I leaned over to the thing to click it. Believe it or not, which I don't expect you to, but I only have Magic open right now. What? Anyway, let's get to it.
Anyway, so yeah, that's 2 bits of news. It's really neat. Hopefully it doesn't suck. Like I say with all things related to Magic, hopefully it doesn't suck. It's a shame, just for me personally, that it's a mobile game, because I will probably never play it. But if it was a PC game, I would probably play the balls off of it. So that makes me kind of sad. But oh well. I also didn't play Magic Puzzle Quest for the same reason.
Huh.
Was it mobile only? Now I don't remember.
I have no idea.
Oh well. Anyway, so I understand that Brian has a Mad Lib for us.
You are correct. And this Mad Lib is of somewhat prodigious length. So we're going to try and keep things moving. And, we can all have some fun with this. But if we're having too much fun, then I'll have to turn into the fun police. Nobody wants that. It's not very fun for anybody. Anyway, that's terrible. Let's get this started. You guys don't know how these work. I need... Oh, and one quick aside. Most of these are exactly how you expect them, but 1 or 2 of these are going to feel a little more what I'll call meta than usual, because it will all make sense when I'm actually reading it out loud. Okay? Okay. All right. So, I need an enchantment. Hello?
Okay. Sorry, I got choice paralysis.
I just want to make sure I didn't get disconnected.
Wild growth.
Sorry, I'm distracted by something. Wild growth. Is that for an enchantment?
Yes.
Okay. So, I need a sorcery.
My mind has gone completely blank.
Time ebb.
Oh, look, I was muted that whole time.
Nice.
I was
Whoops.
going to say, feel free to join in, but clearly these two can't come up with anything on their own. All right, so time ebb for sorcery. I need a step or phase of the turn other than Mike's turn.
Dirk's turn.
Chewie's turn.
Damn it.
Go, guys.
Upkeep.
All right. I need an artifact.
Mirari.
I need a Wizard of the Coast R&D member.
Ken Nagel.
Is it bad that in my head I went Nat Pagel? No, that's not his name. Pat Nagel. No, wait, that's the wrong game.
All right. I need a card.
Squall.
I give you the whole freaking...
And Dirk is rocking the random card button.
Oh yeah, I am.
I need
It's an
a
easy one click.
I need a creature type.
Zombie. So I just saw Liliana raise up an army of the undead to go attack a core or something in that video, so.
All right, I need a plane.
B2 bomber. Really, guys?
I'm sorry, I got distracted. Apparently, the starter printing of Squall was misprinted with the wrong mana cost. Weird.
You're welcome.
Okay, I need a plane.
Oh my god.
Zendikar.
The starter version.
All right,
One
now
every
I'm gonna mention that I'm at a little later. I'm gonna ask for some legendary creatures, and it would make a lot more sense for the Mad Lib if they were from Zendikar. So just keep that under your hat. All right, I need.
Okay, wait a minute. Before you do that, the Starter 99 and Masters Edition 4 online were apparently both printed with the wrong card. Wait, no, the Masters Edition 4.
Yeah, the Masters Edition cards and
changing the
Gatherer,
art.
they don't actually use the Masters Edition assets. They just use the other ones.
Okay. Good point. Okay, sorry. Go, Brian. I'm sorry.
Now I got to look at Squall. Okay. All right.
Squall.
All right. So I need an instant. Yes.
What is wrong with us today?
I don't know, dude. Like, what's going on?
We are like a 15th of the way there. So
What was it again?
An
instant.
Guided strike.
Oh. I don't even know what that guided. Target creature +1/+0 and first strike until end of turn, draw a card. Oh.
I need an aura.
Somebody almost said something.
Sounded like Dirk was about to say something.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something.
Eldrazi Conscription.
There we go.
Hiccups.
Eldrazi. The goal is not to pick the things that are longest to make me take a long time to write them down, but go right ahead. All right. I need a theme of a set, by which I mean, for example, you might say Ravnica, the theme was multicolored, something like that. As big a theme or small theme as you want. It'll make sense with the Mad Lib.
Enchantments matter.
All right.
Monster. I remember the last time enchantments mattered. Other than Theros.
Is that Urza block?
Yeah.
No, that was Theros block. Come on.
He said other than Theros.
Theros.
I mean, isn't
And
that
you
the
weren't
default?
thinking Theros anyway, you monster.
Yes, I was thinking Theros. Screw you.
Oh, all right.
We all know that Enchantments Matter was supposed to be the theme of Urza block, but they blew it out
Messed
with
it
all
up.
that stupid. Yeah.
Okay, boys, give me a creature.
Monster.
Fog monster. Is that a creature?
What is Swamp Thing? The
is that Force of Nature? Is that Swamp Thing?
yeah, Force of Nature.
There you go.
Force of Nature. That's cool. Give me a cog, which of course is an artifact with convert mana cost of 1 or less.
Zurin Orb. Now who's a monster?
Me, because I am choking.
Yes, listeners, very sorry, but Brian has been sick for like 8 months and just is incapable of using the damn mute button.
I actually just muted. I actually just did. All right, I need a non-creature card and a mute.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Into the
all right.
Royal.
Into the what?
Into the Royal.
Oh.
Isn't that's from Zendikar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Should be.
cute. Wow, sorry. I need a red instant.
What?
I don't know. I'm just laughing.
Char.
Char. That is in fact a red instant. I need a sorcery.
Demolish.
Feeling red, are we? Give me an enchantment.
Demolish is a sorcery. Why did I think that was an instant?
I don't know. It'd be pretty cool.
Be kind of busted. I already forgot what the question was. I'm so sorry.
An enchantment.
Okay, Gigantiform.
Oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say, what was the? Never mind. I'll wait for another.
Gigantiform?
Yeah.
FYI, I'm not on the random button.
Gosh, I forgot about this card. It's pretty
All
cool.
right. Give me a planeswalker.
From Zendikar.
Anywhere. These do not all have to be from from Zendikar. It will come in with some legendary creatures in a bit.
Kiora the Crashing Wave.
I was thinking of her.
Damn, that's eerie.
All right,
I was like, Octopus Lady.
give me a legendary creature from Zendikar.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were being a smart ass with the From Zendikar or not.
No.
Go with Iona, Shield of Emeria.
Oh.
What?
Terrible.
I don't think she feels that way.
She's haterade, Dirk. All right,
Oh.
give me a planeswalker from anywhere.
Mike, who's your favorite planeswalker?
My favorite planeswalker? Oh, crap. I don't know. Let's pick a Vraska. Which Vraska should it be? Let's spell Vraska correctly. Vraska the Unseen.
All right, and then give me a black sorcery.
Does black have sorceries?
At least 2.
Oh, God. I don't like you anymore.
Go with Sadistic Sacrament.
I don't even know what that is.
It's one of the ones that can pick cards out of someone's library. I think.
Yep.
Library for up to 3 cards. Yep.
If you kick it, you dig out 15 cards. Jesus.
That's crazy.
That's
what
from
set is it from?
Zendikar.
Zendikar.
Dirk, are you just on like
I am
Zendikar?
so in Zendikar block.
Oh, Dirk. Okay. All right.
Hey, it makes everything easier.
I need an instant.
That's not from Zendikar.
Not necessarily from Zendikar.
Just for that boomerang.
That is an instant.
Not from Zendikar.
All right. I need a legendary creature, and this is the last thing that needs to be from Zendikar. That has to be from Zendikar.
Supuestamente.
Who's that?
All right, I'm done. I'm leaving. Somebody text me when this episode's over so I can come stop the recording.
Well, Well, Mike, why don't you name one since Dirk named Iona last time?
Let's name one. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth.
Give me an instant.
The hell? Be right back.
Warping Whale.
Oh.
Give me an artifact with a mana cost of 7 or more.
Aladdin's Ring.
Give me a planeswalker.
Okay, I'm back. What'd I miss?
Well,
Call for the hammer. Ha! That's what I was trying to get Mike to say earlier.
But,
Oh.
you missed
Yeah,
Warping
that's
Whale
good.
and Aladdin's Ring. So Koth,
Warping Whale.
and they answered Aladdin's Ring for an artifact with a high converted mana cost. So Koth is the planeswalker.
What's
Yes.
a Warping Whale?
It's
Colorless. Instant.
Instant. Oh, wait. Oh, I see it now. I was thinking whale like aquatic mammal, and I'm like, I don't know this card.
Man, that card would rule.
That card would be sick.
Teleporting Whale. Okay, give me an enchantment. We're over halfway, I'm pretty sure.
Dear God.
Give me an enchantment. Anybody.
I don't
Conjured
want-
currency.
That's okay.
All right, give me an aura.
Feast
Holy
of the
armor.
Unicorn.
What did Mike started to say something
Oh,
first?
he did?
What was it?
Damn.
Yeah. What did you
Holy
say?
Armor.
Oh, mine's way better.
It is.
Is it, though?
Holy armor. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Batman. Holy armor, Batman.
Give me a sorcery.
Feast of... Oh, now I'm sad.
Feast. Are there other feast cards? Feast. Feast of Flesh. Ugh.
Delicious.
It's a sorcery.
I already forgot what we're supposed to be answering.
It's a sorcery. I need a sorcery. Somebody give me a sorcery.
That's an instant. Trying to find one. I'm thinking of things that are instants. Dang it.
Yeah, me too. Wait, is... No, that's an instant. Damn it.
Seek the horizon.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Give me a white sorcery or instant.
Harm's Way.
Ooh.
Oh, dear Lord.
You picked a good one, Mike.
Give me an enchantment.
How about... Wait. Enchantment covers all kinds of things. So how about lure?
Yeah.
All right. I need a set mechanic.
Echo.
Annihilation.
Echo?
Thank
Echo.
God. Echo.
Yes. Dark. It doesn't know how to be from Zendikar. Oh my God. Okay.
No, it was from. Not well.
Rise
Yeah,
of the
Annihilator was in the car.
Yeah. It was from Rise of the Eldrazi, which was technically its own block. Anyway. Give me an aura.
It wasn't its own block.
Wasn't it? It was drafted by itself,
It was
wasn't
just drafted by itself.
It was drafted by itself.
It was
All right,
the
give-
last one
give-
in Zendikar.
Give me an aura. Chewie, give me an aura.
I just did, and I don't wanna.
Aw. Here, I thought you were going to say the other one. Oh, well.
What's the other one? Feast of the Unicorn! I may or may not be an idiot.
Now I made more work for myself because that's unicorn, yeah, not unicorn. All right.
I like Corm. Old memes.
All right. I need another set theme, kind of like we talked about Enchantments Matter before. I need another set theme.
Spirits and Arcane.
You are a bad man.
What was that laugh?
That was the. Oh, I remember that one. That one was pretty bad.
Give me a red aura.
Oh my god.
Conquer.
Oh my god, Conquer is an aura, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Give me an incarnation creature.
Valor.
Give me a blue instant.
Does blue have those?
I don't know. Dirk already said boomerang.
Goes downhill from there.
Yeah. Ooh, I got one. Snap.
Aw, snap.
Snap.
All right. Give me a keyword or ability word.
Snap.
How about unleash?
Nice.
All right. Give me a white or blue sorcery.
What was that one that you paired with Psychotog and then you won?
Upheaval?
Upheaval.
Yeah, is that a sorcery?
Yeah, it better be.
It better be. Dear Lord.
That was like right before I started paying attention, so
Upheaval. Yes, thank God. Upheaval. All right, give me a
sickest art too.
Give me a red or green instant.
Is this what I'm thinking of? No, that's not even a card. Never mind.
There are like a million cards.
And Mike comes up with a one word that's not a card.
Well, no, it was multiple words. Okay, I had the words in the wrong order. This is the card I was thinking of. Surge of Strength.
What were you thinking? Strength of Surge?
Well, no, I think I was thinking like Storm Surge or something like that. But that doesn't make sense.
Storm Surge. All right.
Strengthful Surge.
All right, gentlemen. Last one. See, this hasn't been that bad. Well,
Sure.
I think we don't usually count. I need a creature.
Giant warthog.
Oh, dear.
Bringing it back home.
Oh, that one almost killed me.
Okay, gentlemen. Whew, this is going to be an interesting one. I call this one Worldbuilding. Let's see if I can get through this. I don't know. What a wild growth day. You've just time-ebbed the Great Designer Search 3. And today is your first upkeep at Wizards.
Wait, I did time ebb GDS 3.
That's impressive considering they've barely even gotten started, right?
Well, that's why it's a time ebb. Duh.
Oh, that's true. That's true. All right. So it's your first upkeep at Wizards. Before long, you get a Mirari from Ken Nagel telling you to come to a world building meeting in the Squall conference room. You get there and take a seat with about 5 other zombies. Let's get started, says the set's lead designer. As you all know, the set takes place on the plane of Zendikar. Other than that, all the remaining guided strike details will be Eldrazi conscriptioned here today.
Yeah, they will.
I believe the set's focus should be on an Enchantments Matter theme, but how we implement that is up to us. A force of nature raises their Zurin orb. Can we reprint Into the Royal in this set? That's a high priority reprint, so yes, replies the lead.
That is a high priority reprint.
The audience lets out a loud char in response.
Char!
Wait, can we start doing that from now on? All right, listeners, whenever you're watching one of my streams and something really awesome happens, I want to see char in the chat.
So can I say it? Can I say it like Charmander? Char! See, now that's what you're going to hear. The member from the narrative team stands up. We believe that demolishing the story here is important, they say. So let's giant form on that. Kiora comes to the plane and runs into Iona's Shield of Emeria, who blames Vraska for sadistic sacramenting the local citizens.
It was her fault, to be honest.
After a boomeranging fight, however, the culprit is revealed to be Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, who is looking to Warping Whale a powerful Aladdin's ring for their master, Koth of the Hammer.
Traitor.
The conjured currency team-up is sure to wholly armor players.
And they need it.
A round of Seek the Horizon goes up, and the lead designer eventually has to harm's way everyone.
A rare look inside R&D.
That's great, but let's lure up some details here. What should be our primary returning mechanic? Our primary returning mechanic. Echo, shouts someone.
Someone kill that man.
That's absolutely Feast of the Unicorning, replies the lead. But if we do that, then Spirit and Arcane has to be the secondary theme.
Oh.
Okay, I'll be good in a second. Has to be the secondary theme. Conquered by the valor in the room, you snap to your feet.
Nice.
Sweet.
Could have been jump, but snap's pretty good. We should bring back Unleash in the set, you say before you can upheaval yourself. There's a pause, and then a rush of surge of strengths from the other giant warhogs. Brilliant, exclaims the lead. Huh.
Yeah, all you giant warthogs.
I claim to not have any knowledge whatsoever as far as how R&D actually makes Magic cards. It almost certainly is not this way. But wouldn't it be awesome if it was?
Except when someone goes, Echo! Then Mark Rosewater just appears out of nowhere and tackles that person, biting their face off.
What does Echo even do?
It's that thing where you have to pay a cost again during the next upkeep or sacrifice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. It used to be the mana cost, but then they changed it with, was it Time Spiral?
Yeah, in Time Spiral, they started to have other stuff other than the mana cost.
Yeah.
I just like how everybody got all crazy about the story, and the lead designer eventually had to harm's way everybody. Shut up.
Rare look inside R&D.
So what did you guys think of that? Was that fun?
Mm-hmm.
It was.
Good.
I don't know why we were so slow on the pickup for so many of those picks.
Maybe we were thinking extra carefully because of reasons.
Maybe.
Well, I'm glad you guys like that a whole lot. Hey, Chewy, should we tell them what we're doing next?
Well, I mean, you should. I only have a vague idea.
Well, the idea that I came up with and Chewy said, sure, let's do that.
For the record, I thought it was a terrible idea up until he got to the end, and I was like, we're doing that.
That's true. That's true. So before we go into this, we should tell the listeners that Mike and Dirk actually didn't know what we were doing today except for a Mad Lib. And they graciously agreed to say, sure, whatever this is, we'll do it. Well, you may remember a little while ago, back, I think, when they were talking about core sets, when core sets were still a thing, and core set Survivor was a thing, where they talked about which cards had been reprinted in core sets. Wasn't the last one like Giant Spider or something?
Yeah, Giant Spider was the last holdout.
And I think we had actually taken an episode and talked about how would you build a core set from existing cards. We're not talking about in creating brand new cards, but because that's its own thing. But how would we build it from existing cards? And I thought, what if we did that again, but with a broader scope? And we're like, yeah, that's not terrible. But then I was like, but we should make it random because I'm Brian, and because it'll be more fun that way. So hidden throughout the little Mad Lib that we just did, you guys just made some interesting choices. So what we're going to do is we're going to do our own little bit of world building. We're going to talk about cards that we would like to put into our own set. However, our own set takes place on Zendikar. It has themes of a primary theme of enchantments matter and a secondary theme of spirits and arcane.
Oh no.
returning mechanics have to include Echo and Unleash. And the story, as you just heard, is Kiora comes to the plane, runs into Iona, who says, "Hey, Vraska's here, and she must be to blame for this sadistic sacrament of all the local people. That's bad, right?" They confront her, and then they realize, no, wait a minute. The real person who's bad is Kozilek, who is being manipulated by Koth, which is weird, but hey, go with it, to try and find an Aladdin's ring. So, there you go. Think about that for about 2 seconds. I actually have to be RB, but I'll be back in just a second. So why don't you marinate on that for a second? Or 5.
I don't know. I think I need the whole Mad Lib, copied and pasted in the window. So I can go back and okay, who are all these people again?
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, so we've got Zendikar. Enchantments matter. Spirits
are arcane.
Echo,
and Echo is
Unleash.
Echo and Unleash, right?
Was that it?
Those are the mechanics, yes.
Okay. And then the story involves
a whole gaggle of planeswalkers.
And Iona and Vraska and Kozilek and Koth.
Yes.
So yeah, Brian was like, so I was thinking we should do a thing like we did, looking at core sets, and I started to zone out. I'm like, didn't we do our own core sets back in the day? I think we did.
Mm-hmm. That was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago, but I was like, and he goes, and we'll do them. And I'm like, I really don't think, he's like, and we'll do a Mad Lib, and what we pick in the Mad Lib will matter. And I'm like, brilliant! He's like, the problem is now you know about it. So he was sending me messages that were don't answer this one. Because, some of these would matter. I did pick Koth of the Hammer because Mike didn't pick it earlier. But that was my only... You'll notice I didn't pick any of these except for Koth. Also, earlier when I had to step away, there was a knock on my door. Who knocks on someone's door at 8:30 at night?
I don't know. Who was it?
There's nobody there, and there was no package or anything, so I don't know what the hell that was.
Someone bumping into something?
No, it was definitely a knock at the door. Anyway, so we should marinate. All right, we're supposed to be marinating.
Right. So, I mean, let's see. So Iona is mad because Vraska keeps sadistic sacramenting everyone. So the spirits in Arcane sub-theme, maybe the spirits could be the spirits of the people that she's been sacramenting. So there's something to go on.
Ooh.
Would they end up in all 5 colors or just a subset of them?
I guess it depends on who she's been sadistically...
Yeah, it's a secondary theme, so it doesn't have to be everywhere. Ghosts, spirits. Yeah, it's on Zendikar. Yeah, I know.
Huh.
I don't want it to be the same as the spirits in Innistrad, but I feel like there should probably won't be in green. White and black at least. I don't know if they would be in blue or red. Maybe red.
What if the spirits have echoes? Or have echo?
That makes sense.
Because in order to force their way back into this world, you got to pay for them twice. It takes extra mana.
That makes sense. That's a good way. And that even makes sense with the way the conversation in the Mad Lib came out. It's like someone suggested Echo, and it's like, okay, yes, but that means we need Spirits and Arcane as a secondary.
Ha-ha!
This is weird.
I don't remember what Unleash is.
Unleash is you can choose to have it enter with a +1/+1 counter on it.
Oh, yeah.
And as long as it has a +1/+1 counter on it, it can't block.
Right.
It's the Rakdos mechanic from Return to Ravnica. Block.
Right. I see it on that little hybrid demon dude now.
Yeah.
In my
the
head.
Unleash would work well with Koth. I think you guys said, but wouldn't an Eldrazi also be something to disrupt the spirits?
Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know about you. If an Eldrazi came trampling around, I'm pretty sure the dead would be like, what's this?
We're trying to
What
sleep.
you
Can
doing
someone
this-
shut him up?
Why are you mad, bro? So we have Kiora gives us blue-green, Iona gives us white, Braska gives us black-green, Koth gives us red.
Yes.
So essentially we have the color pie.
Mhm.
We have all the colors.
The main characters, yeah. What you said about the Eldrazi disrupting stuff also makes sense for Kozilek, because Kozilek, one of his big things is like warping time and space, so
Mm-hmm.
I forget why Kiora was here. Just because? Well, she lives here. She's from here.
Yeah, she's from here. Right.
That's right. Okay. And she came back to see how things were going.
She's like, home sweet home. And then opens up her door and finds, pandemonium outside.
Yeah. I think the pandemonium has kind of ended, but everything is still like she look out her door and wonders like, why is everything recently on fire?
So Koth got the unleash.
So why is Koth using Kozilek? And how is Koth making Kozilek do things?
Maybe he put some catnip or something on Zendikar, and Kozilek was just like, meow? Followed it to the plane.
Maybe Koth knows that Kozilek will just be naturally attracted to the, massive mana-driven power of the Aladdin's ring.
I'm back. Sorry about that. We had a family thing. Are we recording?
Yes.
Always.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I caught a little bit of that, and I actually had a minute to think about this. And of course, we're talking very much in a, what do they call those, like, spin-offs, like the what would happen in DC Comics if, like, the Silver Surfer got the Infinity Glove and not DC Marvel.
There is so much wrong with that. Let's not go there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, in
but
DC it's an Elseworld story, in Marvel it's a what if story.
okay. Well, so here
Magic
Silver
gets
Surfer is a Marvel character.
Yeah.
So we have two possibilities. One is that this takes place before Kozilek got burned to a crisp. Another actually is afterward. So Kozilek was burned up on Zendikar, right? So what if Koth found a way? Maybe Koth has been a bit corrupted by the Eldrazi influence. The last time we saw Koth, he was fighting off tons of
The Phyrexians.
Phyrexians on New Phyrexia. What if he got a little bit of, that Phyrexian?
Oh, what if the Phyrexian toxin has caused him to want to just become like the Joker and just let everything burn?
Let everything burn a little bit, and he gains the ability to do some form of primal reanimation. But keep in mind, his whole thing is, rocks and metal, right? So what if he gets to the whatever remnants are left of Kozilek?
And
Giant Kozilek built out of rocks.
And what is more metal than a giant colorless thing that's trying to destroy worlds? That's pretty freaking metal to me.
And he builds at the very least a simulacrum or something like that, or of whatever residue is left of Kozilek, and says, "Go dig me up in Aladdin's ring," because maybe Aladdin's ring here is, it feels like
a couple of wishes.
It feels like every set thus recently has been bad guy, go find the thing. On Ixalan, it was go get the immortal sun. On
Somebody
Amonkhet,
stole the Shibble Dibble.
on Amonkhet, it was go get the army, which I would still classify as a thing. Go get the army ready. On Kaladesh, it was go build the portal. So it's this quest of, oh my God, there's this dangerous, terrible thing. Two sides are competing for it. What's going to happen? So, but I could see Kiora, and if you guys are talking about this, I apologize because I didn't catch any of this, but I could see Kiora coming because isn't she native to Zendikar?
Yes.
That's what we were saying, is that she got home, was just like, finally, peace and quiet, and then she opened up her door to go outside, and there is a new round of pandemonium that's occurring.
And she's like, I can't leave this place for 5 minutes. You know, why is there an Eldrazi here? I thought Chandra, you know, barbecued him. Hey, Iona, what's going on?
We came up sort of with 2 different methods that the Spirit Arcane thing could come in.
Okay.
What was the one that you guys came up with?
So I said that Spirit and Arcane thing, that's where we'd put Echo, because we don't want spirits to work the same as they do in the other places. So in order to force themselves back into the physical world, it costs extra mana. So there's Echo.
That's cool. And in Time Spiral, they made it so the Echo doesn't have to be the same as the original mana cost, right?
Right.
So that's cool. You might have like a big guy that costs very, very little, but doesn't have haste, and then has an enormous Echo cost, for example.
Yes.
Cool.
And then the other thing with Spirits and Arcane that I had thought of was that with Kozilek rampaging through, that would disrupt the nature of the plane, and so spirits of the wilds or whatnot would come out and actually come to defend against Kozilek this go around.
I like that. See, here it's amazing to me. We take these completely and utterly random / wrong ideas and make them work in this way. How would you go ahead?
Well, with the Aladdin's ring, what was the thing on Kamigawa that the Emperor King
which was taken? It was
he took something, and that's what got the spirits all riled up.
Yeah, he basically stole the spirit child of Okagachi to try and give himself immortality, which more or less worked, but the spirits were like, oh no, you didn't, and started invading the material world. So,
well, to sort of go with that, what if the spirits are kept in place or guarding the Aladdin's ring?
Entirely possible. So you've got almost 2 sets of spirits. One is, you know, just the spirits of the plane, which are being disturbed. The natural balance is being disturbed by Kozilek. Maybe even Koth even reanimating Kozilek to a certain extent. That act disrupts
the balance and brings
the natural order. So you have these spirits and things returning, some of which are benevolent and some of which are very, very confused and possibly lashing out at people. So then where do you fit in Unleash? Do you maybe do Unleash as maybe more of the members of the natural inhabitants of Zendikar losing their restraints in fighting back? Because you don't want to pile too much in the spirit corner. Go ahead, Mike.
No, and I liked Dirk's idea about that being more representative. I can't remember if it was Dirk or Chewy's. It was Dirk's idea of that being more representative of Koth and Kozilek's minions.
Okay. So you've kind of got almost 3 different factions here. If I'm following, you've got the defenders of Zendikar, and keep in mind at this point, this plane has been beaten, bloodied. You know, they've seen it all. So these people, when another threat rises up, they're ready to go. They're ready to defend their home.
They're like, son of a bitch.
They are world weary, but I think at this point they've seen so many bad things. They're not caught unawares like they were the first time the Eldrazi risen. They're more like, all right, you know, let's get to it. You've got Kozilek and Koth on the other side, basically the invaders. And then in the middle, kind of neutral, you have these spirits that may be pulled in either direction or maybe no direction at all. It might be slightly territorial. If you're dead and now you're not, you may not understand what's going on. So I like that. I like that a lot. Now, when I was pitching this idea to Chewy, my first thought was trying to make a set, not a whole set, mind you, but the bare bones of a set out of existing cards, because I didn't want this to be all about making new ones, because that's its own thing. But still, I think we can say, okay, if we need a card that doesn't exist, here's kind of the idea of what it would need to be, you know? For example, what would Koth look like here? Would we have a black-red planeswalker? Because we haven't had too many of those lately. There's been the Minotaur planeswalker, Angrath?
Angrath, yeah.
Angrath, and one version of Sarkhan Vol. And that's it, right?
I think one of the motivations for making Angrath was so that they could have another black-red planeswalker because it's so underrepresented.
and I think in his design article talking about it, Mark Rosewater said that it is probably the hardest color combination, if not one of the hardest, to do a planeswalker with. Like what do those colors represent, and how do you do them on a planeswalker that's not either dumb Tybalt or broken Tybalt, but in a different way. So what would, if Koth has been infected a little bit, say we're going with that angle from the Phyrexians, and he's just kind of on a, everything sucks, let me go get this ring. Maybe he's even being slightly manipulated by the Phyrexians.
He's an emo kid.
Maybe he's even being slightly manipulated by the Phyrexians into thinking he's still fighting them, and he's going here to get that ring to go back to New Phyrexia and try and purge it, maybe. And he thinks, okay, this will make everything better. And of course it's not going to, but then I thought it was really interesting. You guys picked Koth instead of Nicol Bolas, instead of someone that's very evil. You can have a good person be the bad guy when they
do the right thing for the wrong reason.
Yes, or the wrong thing for the right reason, and so and ultimately the heroes, the protagonists, are the people that stand up to them and say, I know why you're doing this, but what you're doing is wrong. And you have this clash of ideals. And I think that's more interesting sometimes than just good versus bad. Yeah. So Koth has seen a lot, and he has seen his plane basically be wiped out, assimilated by the Borg. And he is willing to do whatever it takes to stop that. And kind of like Soren's attitude of, he wanted to help other planes, but first and foremost was, what can he do for Innistrad? And then, so Koth might be driven to, I've seen enough innocent people die. I am going to get my people back. If I have to hurt someone else in the process, so be it. I've seen too many friends die. He saw Venser sacrifice himself right in front of him to revive Karn. He may be willing to do, with or without Phyrexian influence, quite a bit that he might not have been willing to do originally. So I could see him being red, black, but he, or maybe just straight red if he's still just being driven by his emotions.
Black might not be a bad thing to throw in, and the black may not even need to be the Phyrexian poison or anything like that. It's just he's he's gone down a dark path, so the black he might think of as it for me to get to my end game, for me to achieve my goals, I must step into the darkness.
Yeah,
because part of the thing about Black and Magic is you just kind of throw out the moral code and you do whatever you need to get things done.
Right. It's not necessarily equating to evil, although you can certainly commit evil acts when you abandon your own morality. But this is something we see in character tropes: is the person that feels like, in order to beat the monsters, I have to become a monster myself. Batman, hello. Although he keeps his own moral code, but it's a question. Every single person has things they will do and won't do, and sometimes those get pushed a little bit. So
yeah, actually, and that actually describes Angrath really well. Angrath isn't evil; he just really doesn't care what he has to do to get off of this godforsaken plane.
Yeah,
and he's really mad. He's so mad.
Mike, you don't think you've read yesterday's story yet, correct?
I didn't. I really didn't.
You didn't. Angrath is at the very front of that, and I hope this is okay. This is literally like the first 2 paragraphs. The immortal sun has just disappeared, right? And Angrath realizes what happens, and he basically turns to everybody, gives them the middle finger, and says, screw this plane, screw vampires and merfolk, and all y'all, peace out. And he just leaves. He doesn't hurt anybody. He's not there for glory. He just says, mission accomplished. Oh, and F you. Bye. So hopefully I haven't ruined it for you. But again, that's the very beginning of it.
Well, hey, it sounds like I had the right idea about him.
Yeah.
Literally, screw you guys. I'm going home.
Yeah. So cool. So how do you want to work in Enchantments Matter?
Oh, right.
How do I want to? I know I have to.
Well, if we're
I mean, you're the one that picked it for this set, Mike.
True.
not knowing what you're doing. Well, in original Zendikar, we had Landfall, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
And then that was a returning mechanic in
sorry.
Battle for Zendikar, correct? As in, it was used a little bit, but it wasn't used to the same extent, right? It was more, you had some things like the retreats that cared about when you play a land.
And creatures with the ability.
But it wasn't like it's on everything, So at this point, we could even still throw in a little bit of a throwback, but
that's too cluttered.
But it worked from a story standpoint, because in original Zendikar there was the royal, and it was the plane itself actually reacting to this infection that was the Eldrazi trapped within it. And
but now we have the spirits for that.
Now we have the spirits for that,
or at least one faction of the spirits, whatever you want to call it.
Right. And so
so one thing with so Koth and his group are essentially running the Unleashed.
Yeah.
The spirits as a second faction have the Arcane as their support. The third faction, which would be Kiora, Iona, and Vraska, which we in no way am I saying that the three of them are allies, but their crew could be the ones with the enchantments.
The enemy of my enemy, at the very least. So
right.
And well, you could also have enchantments on a certain standpoint, because you don't have to divvy up every mechanic to one particular faction. What I'm wondering is if you can't do enchantments as a way to show that with this act of resurrecting Kozilek, and we've talked about the bond between the material and the spirit worlds being broken a little bit, if perhaps the enchantments are more a sign of nature either trying to repair itself or breaking itself open even further. Just like, oh god, much like the royal was a reaction of the plane to the Eldrazi, could there be something here about the enchantments? You could see, more global type enchantments having to deal with the natural law being broken. But you can also feed some of that into the defenders with things like auras. Maybe because we know that they have seen a lot. We know that they have faced cosmic horrors before. They're more prepared, perhaps, than they would have been a generation ago. And
Wars are that defense mechanism.
Right. Of training, exercise, and battle preparedness. They don't all have to be auras, but you can have an aura sub theme, because that would be a way of doing enchantments matter.
Right.
So, what do you think Kiora looks like at this point? Remember, the last time we saw her was actually Battle for Zendikar, right after they managed to fry up the Eldrazi, all Chandra style. And that was kind of a tough time for her, because the other Planeswalkers the Gatewatch, before it was the Gatewatch, invited her to come on board with them to fight. And she basically used them for a little while and then said, no, I've got this. I don't want to take orders from Jace, which, I think most people would probably have a problem taking orders from Jace. But more importantly, she didn't want to take orders from Gideon, and that's just crazy. And so she left, and she kind of gathered like Lorthos the Tidemaker and the creatures that she had prepared to summon to fight the Eldrazi herself, because she figured she's self-reliant. She has traveled the world. She has gained aquatic followers and whatnot. She's got the Bident from
Thassa.
Thank you, Thassa. She's ready to do this. And then it turned out she couldn't handle it by herself, and her forces were decimated, especially when Ulamog was joined by Kozilek. Because remember, it was just Ulamog at first, and then Kozilek was like, surprise! And she stays at the plane I believe she actually sees the Gatewatch triumph, and she kind of leaves without saying goodbye to anybody, because she's a little put in her place, So she's left. She's had some time to recollect and reassess herself. She knows that her plane is safe. It's not like Nahiri. Nahiri went, after she got out of the Hell Vault, she went to Zendikar, saw it being eaten alive by the Eldrazi, and basically said, well, this place is effed. and left to go to Innistrad to get revenge on Sorin because she immediately assumed, she's like, I don't have my godlike powers anymore. The Hedrons are all out of whack. She didn't even try. She said the writing's on the wall. And so as far as she knows, Zendikar is kaput. Kiora at least has a sense of hope because she knows it's okay, or she thought it was okay. So is she still blue-green, or is she more mono-blue? Is she a little more introspective at this point? What do you think?
I don't know. Just from Kyora's personality, I don't think you can get over that aggro aspect. I think she needs to stay green in some respect.
She is pretty aggro. What mechanics has she done previously? She makes tokens, right?
Makes tokens.
How many
fooling around with land?
There have been 2 Kioras?
Yeah.
There's been right. Kiora, Master of the Depths, and Kiora, the Crashing Wave. So there have been exactly 2 Kioras. Both of them make krakens or octopuses. So she doesn't make small tokens. She makes big tokens because basically, again, she goes from world to world recruiting the biggest, baddest under the sea minions she can.
Damn, dude, she's got Ursula.
A little bit. Less flounder, more Ursula. And then, she does a little bit of card selection or card draw.
I just saw Kiora going, and now witness your end, and she does a summoning thing, and Flounder pops out and goes, "Hi!" Okay, sorry.
That's okay. So I think blue green could probably be a little would probably still be appropriate, although I wonder if now she'd have a little more blue style control, maybe bouncing things or drawing you more cards, or if she is calmed down a little bit,
right.
Then maybe a little bit of like a sleep type of effect.
But I mean, have we seen her using magic like that? Usually, like you said, it's summoning and like elemental, like water and wave control.
Yeah, and she still
she does summoning and weather control basically.
She still has the Bident, so
so she probably would do even more weather control.
That's entirely true. Master of the Depths has that first ability where she untaps a creature and up to 1 target land. Mm-hmm. So that's a little bit of that. So there might be other ways to do that, including, again, like a bounce effect. Although you have to be careful with bounce effects because, especially on a permanent, that can get really obnoxious. But
what about an ultimate that throws someone's lands on top of their library?
Like not upheaval, but Plowunder. Oh, Dirk.
Mm-hmm.
I meant Mike, but that was so bad I couldn't even say Mike's name. But in a good way. Oh, what if it was something silly? I'm picturing something like, and it can't be this, but like put all lands target player controls on top of that owner's library for each land. Put that way, you get an octopus. That's just ridiculous. Would it just be the bounce spell? Because isn't that enough on its own? That feels.
Yeah, we can let her make. I don't know. We can let her make like 3 or 4 octopuses with a properly costed middle ability.
That's a good point because she did lose some of her heavy hitters to the Eldrazi, so she might still be regrouping a little bit. So something like first ability, maybe some kind of card draw, something like that. Fairly or not.
Maybe
not
something still
card.
Having to do with land. I don't know, untapping land or something.
Okay. A second ability, get a 3/3, maybe a 4/4 token, but have it be like a -3 loyalty, and then minus 9 or 10 or something silly.
However much it needs to be.
Yeah. So, again, not crafting the whole thing, but stupid expensive ultimate. Is there a card that does that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like Sunder throws all the lands back in everyone's hand, but
But I like it because
there's no super plow under yet.
It feels very final. It might be rage-inducing.
One of them was, well, no, she already had that reveal of top 4 cards. Put many. You may put a creature card from. So I was thinking something similar to that, where because she is recovering, she's not looking to make a big creature. It's just whatever you come across first. Reveal your library until you get to a creature. Put that one into your hand or something like that.
That's not bad. Or a creature or land.
Yeah, it really depends on whether we want to do a summoner Kiora or something else Kiora.
Yeah. But there's some good possibilities there. So let's turn to our team up of Vraska, because Vraska is cool these days, guys, and I think that was a really interesting choice. So when we last left Vraska very recently, slight spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't finished the stories, but this was in last week. So by the time this episode goes up, you'll be a week and a half out, if not more. Vraska. Okay, I have to say this about the Ixalan story. When we saw the preview card for Jace wiping Vraska's mind, I believe Mike and I both said, no,
why are you doing that? No.
Why are you doing this? And then the story came out, and I'm like, oh, thank God. Mike, do you want to explain what was going on there?
Yeah, so they realized that when they figured out that grabbing the immortal sun was just another part of Nicol Bolas's fiendish plan to invade planes with his unliving army. Vraska realized, oh no, when I actually complete the mission, he's going to read my mind and find out that, I know about this and you know about this and you're still alive, and then he's going to kill me and it'll be horrible. Like her and Jace came to that conclusion together.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do? And Vraska suggested, okay, you're just going to have to wipe out all of my memories of you and replace them with, something else. And somehow when we meet up again, you'll give a signal that'll bring all my memories back, and I'll know what to do, and we'll betray Nicol Bolas right then and there.
Yeah.
And Jace was really resistant to it at first.
Yeah, Jace was
Yeah, this is someone he actually likes, and who likes him back, and he didn't want to do that to her mind and her memories. But really, it's kind of the best plan that. It's probably the best plan that Jace had heard in months, including the ones he came up with himself.
Yeah,
especially those.
Yeah.
Keep in mind they have no good options, because if they don't, only Nicol Bolas and Tezzeret have the ability to remove the immortal sun because of the gate.
Yeah.
If they decide to be noble and say, "Oh, we don't want Bolas to get it," they will sit on that plane until they die because they can't leave. Or Nicol Bolas will send someone else. Mm-hmm. And then if she doesn't report back, Nicol Bolas will hunt her down because, hey, why didn't you come back? Something's up and you got to die. If she does go back and, as Mike said, Nicol Bolas finds out that Jace was there, he's going to be like, oh, you really got to die. Especially when Jace told her what was in Nicol Bolas's mind. At the confrontation on Amonkhet, for one brief second, Jace actually looked into Nicol Bolas's mind to try and figure out what is the master plan. And Jace got a glimpse of it and told Vraska. And if Nicol Bolas found out about that, she'd be super dead, because he doesn't like people knowing his crap. So the big difference to me in the story was, what I originally thought was happening was Jace feeling like he made a mistake getting close to Vraska and wiping out her memory on his own. What actually happened was her wanting him to do it and actually telling him, take my memories and give them back to me later, so we can totally betray Nicol Bolas, which is a ballsy thing to do, and him actually resisting, saying, no, I don't want to do that. And she's like, you have to do it. That is a completely different dynamic. So all of that goes into, she doesn't remember Jace. She knows she met Nicol Bolas. She went to Ixalan got him his shiny new immortal son, and went back because he promised to make her the guild leader of the Golgari. That is where we're at. As far as why she's on Zendikar, maybe Nicobolas says, all right, it's going to take me, a couple weeks to get this set up and depose Gerard. Why don't you go run another errand? Or maybe he gives her some time off. Who knows? The point is, when she gets to Zendikar, she has no reason to believe that Nicobolas isn't doing exactly what he's supposed to do. And she is getting out of the way, I guess, for him to do that. Or perhaps she's going to Zendikar to shore up her own resources. Maybe, by this point, everybody knows about Zendikar, right? It's a pretty well-known secret among planeswalkers. And the whole thing with Zendikar, the reason the people were drawn there were A, treasure, and B, mana. Oh my God, the mana. Because the mana for Zendikar is supposed to be, nice and sweet and buttery. So she goes to Zendikar, says, this seems pretty nice, and then ends up getting tangled up in this because Iona says, "Hey, I'm a bit of a racist. You're a Gorgon. Something is happening to the local people here. They're being shredded or torn apart while something is looking for the ring. It must be you." And Vraska is incredibly used to being ostracized, is incredibly used to being put down. That is like, in Ixalan, we got more of her story than ever by a long shot. Mm-hmm. And she was tortured as a kid because she was a Gorgon. She was hunted down by the Azorius. No reason, no surprise she doesn't like Azor then. And she feels like everyone has put her down and put her people down. And so an angel, the personification of white mana, the man, saying, "What do you do that for?" I can see Vraska not exactly like trying to explain things, just being like, "No, we're going to go at this." And Kiora eventually realizes, wait a minute, something here doesn't add up.
Iona's like, "You're the one that's been sadistic sacramenting people." And Vraska's like, "What if I was?" You want to go?
Iona's like, they're moving in now. So, it's bad stuff. So what does Vraska look like now? She's not a pirate. She's still a Gorgon. She has no memory of Jace. So a little bit of that softer side that she has developed has been wiped out. And she is, once again, the more put upon. She probably had a good time with her pirate buddies from their manufactured Jace memories. And plus, he kept in some of the things that were real. But for the most part, she lost this really dear companion and has no idea that she lost him. So, is she mono black? She was mono black in the Planeswalker deck, correct? But every other incarnation has been black green because Gorgon, right? And not to mention Golgari. Does she work fairly similar to how she did in her original incarnation?
I think so. You're talking about just the assassin character?
Yeah, because that's who she really was at the time, right? Was she was basically paid to kill people, although she's still an idealist. She didn't kill anyone that she didn't really want to, but she felt like her only value to people was in her ability to kill. That's why she was so unused to Jace not wanting to, kill her. It's why she was a little surprised that Nicobolas did not send her explicitly to kill people. Sure, if they got in the way, but it was not go to this place, kill this guy, come back.
Right.
So
like when Darth Vader goes, "And no disintegration." Boba Fett's like, "Fine."
Yeah.
Everybody else is just disintegration. This is crap.
What did the original Vraska look like?
What do you mean?
Well, just like her abilities. Was she the unseen?
Vraska the Unseen. The first ability was if creatures damage me until your next turn, they get killed.
Yeah.
The middle ability was kill that. And the last ability was make 3 assassins.
Make 3 assassins, yeah. So you could do something off of that template. I don't know that her abilities would need to change all that much, although she might have a little bit of time with the pirates and actually achieving a goal for Nicol Bolas that didn't necessarily have to involve killing people. She did kill some vampires, but
Right.
Vampires aren't people. Is that racist?
Yeah, a little bit. I was wondering if anyone from the Vampire Union had gotten to you lately, and I guess not. So you need to watch some of that True Blood, yo. But
yeah,
no. So she's a kind of difficult one. I think you'd probably have to design her more in the trying to fill a niche in what you needed from the set's mechanics, because I feel like you can do a lot of different things with her. So it's kind of like, whereas Kiora fits more into this and Koth fits more into this, you might just say, okay, we need a Vraska that represents X. You know what I mean?
Right.
So let's go back to Koth just for a second. Unless there's something else. I'm trying to like guide the discussion here, but is there something that has really stood out to anyone else as far as anything we've talked about, anything we haven't talked about? Any glaring holes or omissions or something that you think would be really cool in the set?
Nothing obvious.
Can we bring back Splice? Because I want to say no.
No, not unless you... I don't know what I was going to say with that unless.
It is so insular,
No.
and that has always been the complaint with Splice onto Arcane. Splice itself is a really interesting keyword because they could have made it splice onto whatever. Imagine if they made
it overly specific.
If they made an instant that said splice onto creature spell, that would probably work fine, depending on, of course, what the spell did.
Right.
The question here is whether or not you'd really need it, and I feel almost like if you had Arcane and you had Splice, people would immediately start making an association. You could still have Arcane because what Arcane represents is the magic of the spirits.
Right.
And there could be another way to do that, but without having to necessarily be Splice. But I just wanted to get that out of the way because I don't want people immediately saying, oh, because there's Arcane, we have to do Splice. I would love to see Splice come back someday. I really think.
If we're not doing Splice, then Arcane is pointless because that's the only way it was implemented. So I guess it would just be a spirit theme.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, you could make more arcane spells and have things that react to arcane things. You don't have to have Splice onto arcane. You could just have another...
That's true. You can have them arcane for the purposes of triggering spirit and arcane stuff.
Yeah.
Spirit that says, whenever you play an arcane spell, rampant growth or, shoot your face or something like that. or a spirit hunter, quote unquote, on the Zendikari side that maybe is a specialist in this sort of thing. And, whenever an arcane spell gets played, he gets a buff or something like that. So there are ways to interact with it. I agree. It's one of those things that doesn't really do anything by itself, but there are ways to interact with it. Yeah. Hey, Dark, would you want to reprint Honden of the Seeing Winds? I don't know that it really fits.
You really have to ask
this.
Twice on that one?
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit in the set mechanically, or I'm sorry, not mechanically. It doesn't fit in the set from a storyline perspective. Like, what is a Honden on Zendikar? But it ties into the spirit theme, and it ties into the enchantments matter theme. So I'm wondering if there couldn't be a way to do like a spiritual successor to the shrine cycle, and you can maybe even do a cycle of shrines, and then but just with different names and different effects, and then that actually opens up some space for people that play shrines in casual, or if these were efficiently costed, shrines are in modern, right? Now, you could never convince me that somebody would play a shrine deck in Modern, at least not with a straight face. But if you added more entries to that cycle, I think you could have something kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because the Zendikar, heck, don't the Zendikar, in original Zendikar weren't one of the expeditions was something shrine, right? The one that got you a red elemental. So
That's true.
I mean, shrine itself is just what I mean. You guys are smart guys. What would be the definition of a shrine? Just a place of worship or an effigy of worship or something like that. So that can represent lots of different things. So yeah.
And that kind of could play into the sub-theme of Zendikar originally, which was exploration. That there are still untouched locations on Zendikar that, as this whole story is unfolding, new unknown locations are showing up.
Good point.
Like, oh, we didn't realize there are these shrine things that are now being activated because the spirits are becoming more aggressive and...
Well, and the last war with the Eldrazi ravaged a lot of the plane, and the people were kind of pushed together to survive. And then, so that kind of reshaped a lot of the landscape. And now, as you said, you've got this imbalance of nature between the spirits running amok and Kozilek doing even more damage. It's entirely possible that in the years since the original Zendikar Eldrazi conflict, in addition to what's going on now, people start to spread out again and uncover the ruins of old places that they used to know, as well as some that were previously buried or inaccessible. So they're exploring outward once again. So it's almost like returning to someplace you knew, but a little different. It's like WoW after a patch, right?
Absolutely.
There you go. Chewy, you've been a little quiet for a while. Do you have any thoughts about anything?
No, I've just been really enjoying listening to you guys.
Okay.
I've never been one much for creating my own much of anything in Magic, so yeah.
Okay.
I came up with a few of the key points earlier, and after that I've just been in listener mode. My bad.
That's fine. I just want to make sure you weren't getting
Just making sure you weren't letting us overtalk you.
No. I also did not doze off. I've just been in listener mode. It's weird.
That's fine. Let me ask you guys, do we have a Colorless Matters sub-theme?
Nah.
No.
I agree. I think I once again I thought it's something to possibly explore, but the more
because
I thought
Kozilek?
about it, because Kozilek, but
Yeah.
what we're not saying that Kozilek is resurrected along with all of the brood, because perhaps whatever Koth is doing is not necessarily all the Eldrazi forever, because I feel like at a certain point, maybe it was around Shadows over Innistrad,
Yup.
that at a certain point you're just like, more Eldrazi, woo. Whereas a singular large Eldrazi is still terrifying to behold. And Koth is still perfectly capable of making elementals and other things to obey him. Go ahead, Dirk.
One thing that actually would be kind of neat to go along with that is that if Kozilek is not whole, but Koth is sort of assembling him to be an agent of chaos, is to have a Spirit of the Night sort of thing going on.
Oh,
where you
That'd
have
be cool for
different,
Kozilek.
you have different things, and when you like use them all or do them all or assemble them all somehow, then you get a Kozilek.
It's
Right.
it's a
cool.
riff on Spirit of the Night and also the sword, helm, and shield equipment.
Cauldra.
Yeah, Cauldra, where you could do something like that.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
And I could see almost like spreading it out, whereas the Spirit of the Night was all creatures and the Cauldra was all equipment. I could see almost spreading it out over different card types, where it's
That would
something
be
like
kinda
you get a particular creature, a particular
Land.
land, and a particular enchantment, because again, enchantments matter. Maybe even 2 enchantments. We want this to be a big payoff, so it shouldn't just be two things. It seems like 3 is the magic number for a lot of these, because you think about Cauldron, you think about Spirit of the Night, you think even about the Bog Witch and the Newt and the Cauldron. Yeah. 3 is kind of a good number.
Yeah.
So if you have a creature that's something like the living embodiment of his remains, the land maybe where it was destroyed, and then the essence of Kozilek as an enchantment, and each one of them should have a minor effect on its own, but then you can do a Spirit of the Night, and I think more Spirit of the Night in terms of pulling out a Kozilek creature versus a make a token, although we could go either way. But I kind of like the thought that you could have Kozilek the hard way, maybe make him stupid expensive.
Make him like 15, yes. And there's no way of getting around.
No cost reduction.
Yeah,
yes.
No cost reduction mechanism or anything. It's like, yes, you can hard cast him, but he's going to take a little while to get there.
Yeah. And maybe have the clause on there where you can't reanimate him or something like that. If he would enter the battlefield from anywhere except for your hand or your library, exile him or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully that, or you could sacrifice these 3 things to get him out. I like that a lot. What does Kozilek do? What has Kozilek done in both of his previous incarnations? The one had Annihilator, and when you cast him,
you drew 4 cards.
The
second one had, when you cast him, fill your hand back up.
Oh yeah, that's the Great Distortion.
And then you could discard stuff to counter stuff.
Yeah. Do we want to do... Both of them have had the, when you cast him, get something neat, which I like a little bit because he's so expensive. There should be a payoff. However, if we're trying to encourage people to assemble Voltron and do the other pieces, that kind of... It feels almost like you're missing something if you manage to pull that off. And that shouldn't be a feel bad, Woo, I got to pull this out. I don't get to do this awesome thing. And I realize the reason that it's the cast is there is instead of when it enters the battlefield is to not abuse blink effects and things like that. But I think you could either do what comes into play or just simply have really good static effects, or the whole point is that he's looking for something, right? And he's kind of tearing up the place. So maybe have an attack trigger that's really awesome.
That's not Annihilator.
That's not Annihilator. I said awesome, not...
not broken.
Not... I don't even have a word that's not 4 letters for... Yeah. Dumb is a 4-letter word. Not Annihilator, but something,
manageable.
Something manageable, and maybe is less about taking things away from the opponent because you're already attacking with a 10, 10, 11, 11, 12, 12. And something about you're looking for something, maybe you get to turn something up. Mike, it's a giant self-mill with some sort of card selection. He's tearing things up, right? Or maybe it's a mill everybody kind of thing. When he attacks, mill everybody for 5, and then...
Well, no, then you're just Ulamog. Ulamog has already done something like that.
Oh, that's true. Oh, he's the when he attacks, you mill the opponent for what, 20?
Yeah, that's the new Ulamog.
Oh, okay, well, then maybe this guy is...
Well, what about he puts lands back on their... puts lands on opponents' libraries.
Kiora. That's true. That feels a lot like Kiora, yeah.
Why not just keep drawing cards?
That is kind of what he does, right?
Yeah, he is sort of plowing things up, so he should be giving the person more resources, shouldn't he? Yeah.
What if he's a oh, come on, it's the original one. For a blue, that's all it costs, right? Right? Ancestral Recall. Yeah. When he attacks, Ancestral Recall.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
I mean, yeah.
Well, you gotta pay a zillion mana for him.
Pay a zillion mana or sacrifice 3 specific things. It's not even like 3, of whatever you want. It's 3 specific things. I think in Ancestral Recall, if anything, it could maybe even be 4. Possibly. So I like that. I like that. So I feel like we've got a decent thing going on here. We've got a world, we've got characters, we've got a conflict. We've kind of fleshed out what the themes are. You actually found a use for Echo, which is just ridiculous.
Yay,
it's just
flavor.
ridiculous. Would you do anything different with Unleash? I mean, it's, the way it was implemented was you get the counter, and if it's got a counter on it, it can't block, right? But if it has a counter on it, it may also do something amazing, right? Is that the way it was implemented originally?
No, it just gets bigger.
It just gets bigger, but it can't block
if it has a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah.
Were there any that said when this attacks, if it has a counter, do blah blah blah, or am I just making that up in my head?
Like
okay,
but we could riff on that in a new set.
There you go. So, and you could play around with both sides if you want, but you probably want to try and encourage people to go all in on the Unleash, right? So, when this attacks, if it has a counter on it, do the thing.
Do the thing, yeah.
Do the thing, yeah. I mean, you could also do if it doesn't have a counter, but that just feels like, yay, you took the safe route. So maybe do like one thing that way to show, hey, here's something interesting. Or have a kind of cheap guy with slightly above usual stats, and when it blocks, if you had to cast it in a desperate situation and it doesn't have the counter on it, when it blocks, do something bad to yourself. Because, drawbacks are a thing sometimes, I hear. Not anymore. No?
Kids, don't do bad things to yourselves.
Well, the text on Unleash is, you may have this creature enter the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it. It cannot block as long as there is a +1/+1 counter on it.
So I'm saying,
it feels like if you change the text of Unleash, then it technically is not Unleash anymore.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about changing that. I'm saying put additional abilities on the individual cards.
Right,
yeah. I'm with you. I'm saying, like, if you had one guy that's like a 3/3 for... that might be too good, but like a common 3/3 for
some mana.
Right. That with Unleash, and if you block with this, deal 2 damage to yourself or something, to basically tell the player, hey, you should play this with Unleash because you shouldn't be blocking with it. And if it's got Unleash, you won't be blocking with, that sort of, they like the Wizards likes the cards that kind of teach people this is how you should be playing this card,
Mm-hmm.
This is how this mechanic works.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because I'm going back through the library, and most of the stuff that has Unleash is actually uncommons. There are some common ones, but they're obviously the little cheap ones. And they all come. The little cheap ones come with some sort of ability. I totally lied about them being cheap. The ones that, there are some kind of cheap ones, but the reality is that they do, for the most part, come with abilities. Like they either have flying, or they have First Strike, or Death Touch.
Yeah.
Essentially, they come with you really want to do the Unleash because bad things happen when you attack with these guys to your opponent.
What I would love to see would be a guy with Unleash, fairly small, fairly cheap. We're talking about fairly economical. Not so small, not so cheap that the Unleash counter makes it busted, but would make it fair, and that when it dies, you draw cards equal to its power. I think that would be really interesting.
Another fun one that might be is, like in its name, it could be like a Firestar or Forest Fire. Have it sort of like the Cavalier ability, where when this creature, if he's unleashed, when this creature dies, go search your library for another creature of the same name.
But
he has to be unleashed for him to go do that.
Right.
That's cool.
I like that. Man, I like that a lot. So it's
cool.
It's a decent static guy, and that when he dies, if he's unleashed, you may search your library for another copy of a card with this name and put it onto the battlefield. I like that. I like that a lot. Man, Dirk here with the killer designs. Okay, well, we've been going at this for a little while. But and if there's anything anybody else has, I think this is great. I just want to make sure that we're not sitting here and like banging our heads against the wall. But for taking a completely random world, completely random, completely disconnected set themes and abilities, you have managed to marry them beautifully with a crazy story that even involves a dead Eldrazi and a quote-unquote villain, antagonist that's been a good guy until now, and somehow you've made it work. So, guys, you made this work a lot better than I was afraid. I was like, this is gonna be awful.
15 minutes in, we're like, we're kind of done. What do you want guys to do next, huh?
Yeah, you guys want to talk about Hearthstone for 20 minutes? Like...
But so I'd say unless anybody else has anything, we can end on a high note. I'd say if any listeners,
I think that's a pretty good skeleton we've got there.
I think if any listeners have really enjoyed this and are just screaming like, "Oh my God, you've got to do this in the set," then let us know. But there's one last thing we have to do. Of course, you've got to come up with a working title for this set. Because come on, and no. Return to Zendikar and Battle for Zendikar Part 2 are off the table.
I was going to say Zendikar 3. This time it's personal.
Because, they've done a lot of Ixalan and Battle for Zendikar and Theros, but this is the second time we'll be returning to a set. The third time a plane. So let's see if we can't come up with something a little more creative that maybe doesn't even have the word Zendikar in the title. So... somebody give me a set name.
Don't you have to have Zendikar in the title?
Eldritch Moon does not have the word Innistrad.
But it was Our Destruction doesn't.
That's because Shadows over Innistrad was right before it.
Yeah. I got it.
Yes.
Echoes of Zendikar. Nailed it.
Echoes. We can call that a working
I'm being
title.
Serious. And then for the second set, which they don't do anymore, but for the second set, if in the hypothetical world when they go back to 2-set blocks, we'll call it like bubblegum fruitcake or something. I don't know. Spiritual monkey face. I don't know.
Spiritual healing and cleansing.
Oh, sexual healing. No, hang on. That's a song. That's copyrighted. Oh.
Has to be G.
No, anyway.
Okay, well, we'll call it Echoes of Zendikar. So if you enjoyed our little foray into Echoes of Zendikar, let us know, because I think this has been pretty fun. But I always enjoy any time I can to just talk ad nauseum. So, all right.
Truth. Now, there is one more thing we have to do for this.
What's that?
We have to come up with the official response when all of the fanboys get pissed off about it. So, like, when Twitter explodes, what do we say? So, like, I don't believe Khalid's been gone for this long and you bring him back and he's the villain? You guys suck. You don't know anything.
The official response is,
we don't get paid enough for this.
I like both of those are official responses.
Might be we don't get paid enough for this. Mike, what do you want to add to this?
Please remove me from your list.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was less than thrilled when they brought back Glissa and she was the villain. So somebody is going to be a little like, Koth was my favorite hero and y'all done
ruined him.
But, I guess the response to that would be if we were going to take it seriously, which of course this is all just an experiment anyway, but would be, hey, he may still not be, bad forever. He's just very, very tormented right now. And this is, the most interesting people are the people that are not one dimensional. So
right.
I would say stick around and read the story articles.
Yeah. And after Brian sent that very official sounding response, I would reply with, I bet you didn't like The Last Jedi either, did you?
Oh, there's no reason to get mean. I mean, it's not like they're uncultured swine.
Oh, we are the wretched hive of scum and villainy. Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
This was a good idea.
Every now and then I have them.
Yeah.
Next week, back to second.
When do the Masters 25 previews start?
Who knows?
It's March.
It is February now, so
March 16th. Okay, we've got plenty of time.
And then right after that, the pre-release for Dominaria is mid-April. So, but I am seriously looking forward to that. I cannot wait to see what they come up with.
Yeah, man, we're going home.
That one.
Anyway, so then, how about we wrap it up then?
Sounds good.
Who wants to wrap it up first?
I guess I'll go.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dirk.
I do fully agree with what Chewy said. This really was a great idea because it gets your mental juices sort of going, and by no means is this for those of you that are listening and go, no, I don't agree with that and everything. Understand that we are totally throwing ideas out, and it's just a discussion amongst the four of us. That I think, as Brian had said, that you listeners are more than welcome to throw out ideas, and they are probably more brilliant than what we came up with in a direction that could easily go, But I do fully agree that this was a great idea.
More brilliant.
Well, it is what it is. So, but it truly is an interesting thought experiment to think, where could this all go and what could this be? With my final thought in this, it is Blizzards. If anyone at Wizards of the Coast is listening to this and is like, wow, that's a great idea. Just remember, you got to give us credit for coming up with these crazy ideas first.
Yeah.
Or at least a preview card.
Right?
Yeah.
Damn.
There you go.
At least give us give us a shout out.
Can we get the new Koth Planeswalker, please? Thank you.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So, and with that, I am off to bed, gents.
Night night.
Good night, sir.
All right. Night, everybody.
Next.
So all I was going to say, I was going to keep this short and sweet, this was very enjoyable for me. And then if I'm going to talk very briefly about a non-Magic related thing, I don't think I've actually said this out loud. And I know that Catacombs and Cobalts has been out for, a little over a month now?
Sure, we'll call it that.
Cobalts and whatever. That Hearthstone set. I don't think I've actually said this to anybody, but or at least on a recording, but it took them way. I might have mentioned this, but I don't know if I've mentioned it in a file. It took them way too long to get rogue secrets, because the first thing I thought one of the first things I thought when I was learning to play the game was I was like, oh, this is how a secret works. Cool. What are the rogue ones? Oh, I guess I just haven't earned any of those. And then I went to the crafting screen and I'm like, where are all the rogue secrets? Because rogue and secrets and rogues are why are there no so I don't play WoW. I don't know if there's a mechanical reason that they weren't going to have them, but it felt like a huge missed opportunity that they didn't have secrets. So I think I heard somewhere that they were going to be in rogue and they got shifted to paladin or something, because when I think of sneaky secret things that you don't know what's going to happen until you do it, I think of the lawful good character. But I think for design reasons it might have been pushed over there, but I'm very glad that they are finally in rogue, because it just makes so much sense there, and a lot of them are very good, including the one that once you get hit, it's a semi kind of ice block, but not really.
Evasion.
Evasion.
Yeah. And I've actually, I don't have a King's, what's the King's Curse or King's Bane?
Kingsbane.
Kingsbane. But I've played against that deck several times, and it's interesting. And if they get started early enough, it can be very, very, very difficult to win against it. And that's not a criticism. I think it's good that it's able to be at least semi-competitive. I don't know if it's really a top tier, but it's kind of a cool deck. And that's a deck that makes...
It is not top tier, but it is brutal if you're not expecting it.
Just vicious. Yeah. The single best way I have found to combat it is run Alexstrasza, which you want to probably do anyway, and then just boot your 15 instead of 30 and win. So, but when they play well and they get the cards sequenced correctly, and they're lucky enough to get the cards in the right order, it can be incredibly difficult to win against it. So, but it's not oppressive, at least not yet. So, anyway, Magic good, Hearthstone good, Heroes of the Storm pretty good. Yeah, yay, goodness.
We play games by Blizzards of the Coast.
And Blizzards of the Coast Enix for me.
Correct.
I have nearly finished my playthrough of 4 on the DS, Final Fantasy 4.
Ooh.
I was able to. I ended up leaving the Sylph Cave and finishing the Sealed Cave, which as soon as I did it, I was like, "Oh yeah, I lose that member of my party." But even without them, the experience I gained was so valuable that I was able to go back and finish the Sylph Cave, go see Yang's wife, go through it again. Which then, by the way, FYI, you definitely want to go see her again. She gives you a nifty little thing. And then I was able to go beat Leviathan really with almost no trouble. But then you get to the very last dungeon after the giant, and everything in there is just like, I'm not going to run this time. Your party is dead. Okay, maybe I should just run here. Until it's funny, you spend a lot of time running until you get like the mega equipment, and then you can start not running away. Has been my experience.
I remember getting trapped in the underground when I had to fight the shut up, chair. When I had to fight the dolls.
Oh, the Calbrenna?
Calbrenna, yeah. Like,
dear Lord, I hate that fight. I managed to do it on the first try this time, and I was like, yes!
Like, I managed to be slightly... This is way back on the Super Nintendo.
Right.
And I managed to be slightly underleveled at that point, but to the point where I couldn't go outside and level up. Like, I'd hit the save point right before it, and for some reason, I think it locked me out or something. Or I was just too dumb to realize I could go outside and fight more monsters. And I got stuck there for like weeks because I would try to beat the boss, get so mad. Because after you beat the Calbrenna, doesn't Golbez attack you?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I got so mad because I would finally, beat them, and then Golbez would be like, "And you're dead." I'm like,
although if you have Golbez shows up, attacks, and then after a little kind of story, you actually get another member of your party back. And if she attacks right away, you can usually actually finish off Golbez incredibly quickly. In the Super Nintendo version. In the DS version, it's actually a boss fight. He uses barrier shift to keep changing his weakness, and if you recall, all but 2 members of your party start out dead. And that is after fighting the dolls. And once again, I managed to, oh my god, Phoenix down, oh my god, win the first time. And I'm like, save. So, the DS version is hard. But I'm kind of glad that I grew up on the SNES version, because first of all, I know where a lot of the hidden stuff is. And second of all, I got used to playing it on the easier mode. So I'm glad I didn't start with super mega hard mode, because I just would have been like, wow, this game is frustrating. Goodbye. Okay, I've gone on far long enough. Mike, totally not even going to interrupt you this time. For real.
Lies.
All right.
Maybe.
I have to admit, I felt an immediate sting of trepidation when you finally revealed what we would be doing this episode. And I didn't know whether we'd be able to do it, because I think I also had in my head that we'd be having to come up with more like specific cards to include. But
and to be fair, not to interrupt, but just responding to that, I think my original thought was naming more individual cards, but I think it became fairly clear in the process that wouldn't be as interesting. So
Mhm.
And that's what I like about some of these topics that we do, is we just do the stuff that works. So, but anyway, I did want to respond to that. That was actually part of the original plan. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think it went really smoothly, and we came up with something that, even though it's very silly, is still also very interesting.
Dude, we're awesome.
We are.
And humble. Was that it for you?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay. Well then, I got nothing. Nope. Nothing at all. I enjoyed this thoroughly. I don't remember if I said this earlier. I think I did, but Brian was sending me messages in a separate chat window of don't answer when it was something relevant.
Mm-hmm.
Just so, because originally I was going to come up with some sort of excuse to not be answering things, but Brian was like, no, only a few of these matter, so I'll just send you a message. I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah, I didn't. When
There was a certain point where some of my hesitation before each answer was trying to give you more space to chime in, because I noticed that you hadn't said freaking anything.
Yeah, well, part of that was because I wasn't like you. I was like at the beginning of this.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he was able to answer the first several until we got to Zendikar. So because I didn't want to give away exactly what we were doing, I made the Mad Lib with the intent of getting the answers that I needed, but trying to actually make it a cohesive stand on your own Mad Lib at the same time, which ended up taking a lot longer that way, and which is why it had so many fill in the blanks. I probably could have cut out a lot of this if we just wanted to get to the meat of it, but I think it was actually a fairly entertaining Mad Lib just on its own. Like, if we had something else to do today, I think that it would have been okay. Maybe not our best ever, but not bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a whole lot of filler in there, so that hopefully you guys wouldn't catch on and be like, why is he asking all these questions about R&D and
set mechanics,
set themes and set mechanics? Because I thought that was the biggest giveaway.
Yeah, but yeah, this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I hope you guys did too. By all means, let us know where we hit or missed the mark with our flavor justifications for how all these things worked. I think we tied it together nicely, honestly. And of course, if there are any specific cards that just have to be in the set, like Into the Royal, it's a priority reprint, then be sure to let us know. We need Echo. Oh. Anyway, so with that, we will wrap this up. I will give all of the usual spiel. Oh man, you can find us all over the internet as the Mana Pool. Twitter, where just a few minutes ago I had an interesting retweet. I did an interesting retweet. Somebody tweeted, "What song would you do a routine to if you were a figure skater?" Clearly, that is Unrest in the House of Light by the Proto-Men. Duh. Or Turn Down for What? Those are the two for me. I don't know which is which, really.
You should totally make the title of this episode something that doesn't give away the actual topic. So that people don't... Well, I don't know.
Yeah, if I just name it Echoes of Zendikar, then people will be like, oh...
Oh yeah. Man, nobody will listen to it.
If you name it something related to design, then they'll think it maybe is just about the Mad Lib. I don't know. But I mean, you have to write an episode description too.
Yeah. Well, that's for post-show discussion. So, we're on Twitter, like I said, at the Mana Pool, where you'll find not only announcements of all the stuff we do, but random nonsense like that. It's totally Unrest in the House of Light. You can find us on Facebook, facebook.com/themanapool. YouTube.com/themanapool gets you to the YouTube channel, where here lately it's just been Hearthstone. And I feel actually kind of bad about that, but things all lined up to be such that it was just the Hearthstone. Mike and I did the TMP Nerf report that we do every time Hearthstone nerfs cards. We do a Nerf report explaining what the nerfs are, why the nerfs aren't necessarily bad, if possible. And we also covered the changes to the ranked ladder that they're going to do starting in March. It ended up being really long, but I cut out like damn near 20 minutes of it. I just want everyone to be aware. And I had some fun with the editing and all of that, and I think it came out really well. Did you get a chance to actually watch it, Mike?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, okay, nice.
I thought I told you that earlier, but
You probably did. I just love hearing compliments. Oh my god, compliments. Tell me how awesome I am, Mike. Also, I've got I made it all the way to rank 5, which for some people isn't much, but for me, that's getting up there with the highest that I've been.
Oh yeah, I've never seen 5, so I forget what the number even looks like.
Well, if you knock the 1 off of where you got to a few days ago, then it looks like that.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm at 13, so that still doesn't. I forget. I've already forgotten. I don't look back, yo.
But yeah, last month I streamed some Hearthstone games, and I made it from rank 8 to rank 5. And some of those games were really enjoyable. Either, awesome wins or awesome losses, or just interesting gameplay. And I decided, you know what, I'll cut out the bad ones and I'll start uploading them as YouTube videos. Of course, the nerfs happened right around there, damn it, but that's not going to stop me from, because of some of the cards featured heavily. But they're really good, and the next one of those went up today. I ran into some spiders. That video actually inspired me to build the Falderai Strider Miracle Rogue deck. It's fun. It's so much fun.
It sounds like fun.
But Nerf Report and the ladder games, yeah. I'm going to record more Cuphead. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get a chance, because I'm almost done, and I'm like itching to play more Cuphead, but stuff keeps coming up and I can't, so I'm like, ugh. So yeah. What else? twitch.tv/themanapool, where, as of this recording, we record on Thursday nights. Tomorrow night, for those of you that are listening on Early Access, Friday night, we're doing a big Overwatch stream celebrating the Year of the Dog Lunar New Year event, where we're going to be playing lots of Capture the Flag and whatever until we get sick of it, really, and opening up the new loot boxes and all that, and it's going to be awesome. And by us, I mean it's me and Bill from Monday Night Magic, and Cap from Lair of Lore, and Steph, one of the ladies of lore, possibly Haley if she's feeling up to it. So it's going to be at least like 4 of us. Sweet. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what else I plan to stream in the future, but I can't, so never mind. But it's twitch.tv/themanapool. Come check it out. And of course, there's themanapool.com, where you find all of the podcasts. Because, that's what we do there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, if you want to help support what I do with all of these podcasts, I do 2 a week. Did you know that? I also do Monday Night Magic, where you get all of your tournament results and news in the Magic world.
I think I might have heard that. I hear they have a snazzy new logo.
Oh yeah, I finally redesigned the logo to look like, a spinoff from the Manapool logo, which I should have done literal years ago. Bad at this game. But anyway, thanks for pointing that out, Brian. I'd completely forgotten about that.
That's what I'm here for. It's not what I'm here for, but
it only took
for
me,
today it is.
It only took me like freaking 2 hours to figure out how to make it not look stupid. God. Anyway, that's a rant for after the show. But if you want to help support what I do with all of these 2 podcasts and multiple YouTube videos and Twitch streams every week, then you can check out patreon.com/themanapool, where every little bit helps, and I really do appreciate it. You can get early stuff, Manapool episodes and YouTube videos early, if you want. You can get the early stuff and the odds and ends, all the stuff recorded before and after both Monday Night Magic and the Manapool. It is uncensored and unfiltered and generally unsafe for consumption, but I put it out there anyway, because it's not really content. I don't want to leave actual content behind a paywall, but us just goofing around and talking about nonsense, that's not content, so that goes behind the paywall.
Right.
And you can, if you are feeling exceptionally generous, you can become a lifeguard and get Get it? Mana Pool Lifeguard? It's funny. You can get the early stuff, the odds and ends, and get your name on the end screen for each video that goes out during each month that you support at that tier. And I will also read off your name, give you a big Mana Pool shout out on both podcasts. So to that end, wait a minute. We had a request here. To that end, I would like to thank the following lifeguards. First up, Kim, I don't know how to swim, ho. I get it. He's a lifeguard. He didn't know how to swim. Let's see what he did there. Yep. Andrew Hunt, who just a few minutes ago, I had opened up Hearthstone on my phone because I realized it still hadn't finished the update. So it would update while you guys were doing your final thoughts. And when it got done updating, it loaded up, and he goes, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, no, don't talk to me right now. But he said to tell you dorks hi.
Hey.
Okay. Kim Hunt. Andrew Hunt. Al! Corey, I still don't know how to pronounce your last name, and you still haven't gotten to me, so I'm going to call you Apple Cork, because that's how I know you on the other parts of the internet. Paul David, Lance Delicious, Tim U, Hellas Are You, John Morris, Stuart Slaw, PJ McMullen, Bosco Bertain, Casey, Nathan Hay, Denny Liao, I hope that's right, AJ Javieres, Cody Buckawing, Jacob Jansons, Jason Kaus, Brian DeLucci, Stark Maximum, Jimmy Scott, Dan Holm, Mike Miller-Burned, and the Beast Father, Aaron Goodwine. Thank you all so very much for your exceeding generosity. I quite literally could not do it without you. Is that everything? Did I actually get it all in the first try this time?
Maybe.
Think so?
Perhaps. All right then. So with that, we will be done. So this has been the Mana Pool number, what do we come up with? 496? Good Lord. 500's looming, you guys. We have a plan now, though, so we're good.
We do.
It's going to be awesome. Hopefully. It'll work. No spoilers, though. It's going to be awesome. We're going to get the new Koth. That's a lie. Anyway, so I'm stalling because I can't remember how to wrap the show. Hang on. So
like press the little stop record button.
In a video, I'd say I've been Chewy, but I don't say that on podcasts. And when I do, Bill laughs at me because I don't say it on podcasts. So this has been 496. Right. Thank you all so very much for listening, and go build some random worlds.